Come on in, come on in. I'll give people a chance to get on in here. Unfortunately, uh, I worked a little bit later than I planned on it, so still in my work clothes and what have you. So um, we'll be driving, we'll be riding and talking. Um, but it is a very important topic that I want to share with you. If you've caught the YouTube shorts that I've done talking about the translation from your given name and family name into the legal name. Let me know if you can hear me. If the sound is good, let me know. Otherwise, the video as well. Let me know. I'll give people time to get on in here. And I'll be getting on the road here shortly. Sounds good. Thank you, BB Productions. Make sure that you hit the thumbs up button as you come in. Woo! Long day. I am very tired. Did a lot of painting today. So yeah. I'll give people time to get on in. Come on in. Welcome to this Friday Night Live. We're going to be talking about the transition from the given name and family name into all right. How you doing, Carissa? Thanks for being here. All is well currently. So a bit tired. Worked most of the day painting for a client, doing my little side hustle, side gig. But thank you for being here. We'll get started shortly. I was just giving people a chance to get on in here. Very important topic today. Again, going to the translation from the given name and family name. What is the given name and family name? Okay, I'm actually going to be doing a live or probably a seminar or something like that on the given name and family name. Something I think we've overlooked for quite a while. We've heard it stated before, but do we really know what it is? What it is, given name and family name. What's the importance of it? One moment. All right. Carissa says, I know all about that. I paint as a side hustle too. Oh, awesome. Cool. Yeah, it was a good opportunity. A friend of mine owns a company called Proverbial Painting, and he had come up against a crunch time to get a project done. So I said, sure, I could stand to come and make a little extra bread. So did 3 or 4 days of it, and it's enjoyable. Painting is, in my opinion, it's therapeutic. It's artistic and therapeutic in my opinion. So I don't really have a problem with it. I think it's a good way to make some side money or what have you, right? Cleaning's another thing. You know, not everybody likes to clean, and it's not everybody's thing. But I've always been that way. Now that I think about it, always, or even from my childhood, I always like to take things that are, broken or dirty or run down, and I like to refurbish them and bring new life to them. I've always been that way. Um, I think that's just my calling in life. It used to get me in trouble as well because always wanted to be. I was always that guy, like always trying to rescue somebody, especially girls, if girls I was attracted to or whatever. You know, as you know, they say nice guys finish last, so that was usually the case. I always wanted to help somebody, but that was another hard lesson I learned, is that you can't help everybody. Sometimes you just got to say uh, no. Saying no is a very difficult thing. It's a special skill to be able to tell somebody no when when somebody's asking you something or do something. It's a difficult thing. It is for me. I mean, it might not be for everybody, but I learned a lot of hard lessons most of my life because I was not able to say no. Yeah. Tasha says you're a fixer. Yes. Carissa says it is challenging to set boundaries. It is. It is. And I would say that the most important consideration is uh, to know thyself. I think that's the most important thing. I think everything that we've been dealing with for most of our lives has taught us to always look outside of ourselves, to depend upon people or things outside of ourselves, to believe in something outside of ourselves, and therefore um, ourselves have been forgotten, has been forgotten, and so if you forget who you are, they say that forget where you come from, uh, you know, or you won't know where you're going if you forget where you come from, something to that effect. But yet, in almost every aspect of life, we're being taught to look outside of ourselves for assistance, for handouts, for God. But isn't the most important thing to know thyself? I mean, if you don't know yourself, then yourself, or then you could probably, you maybe probably easily deceived if you don't know yourself, because you don't know what you value. You don't know what you hold dear. You don't know your core. You don't even know your own core belief system. And so, how bad is that? That you don't even know yourself. How can you love yourself? Okay, our uh, social norm teaches us to love outwardly, to love everybody else, do unto your neighbor, et cetera, right? And I just think a lot of our issues, especially in the Western world, a lot of our issue is that we just don't love our own selves. Uh, cigarettes, drinking to excess, et cetera. All of these things are self-medication, but we know that they harm us at the same time. But it's part of our normal culture. So we would not recommend poisoning to anyone else, yet we poison our own self, right? We know how to tell other people what's best for them, or what I would not do, or I care about you, so please don't do that to yourself. But uh, we don't hold that type of uh, reverence or respect for our own selves. So that can be a big issue, in my opinion. Let's see here. Carissa said, "That's true. To thine own self be true." Yeah, who said that? Somebody said that. Uh, know thyself, or to thine own self be true. I forget who said that. Somebody did coin that phrase. I should probably put my glasses on now that I'm trying to drive and read at the same time. All right, let's see. Carissa says, you have to know who you are and what you want to manifest. That's exactly. I'm realizing that lately. I'm just saying, we've been covering that on our Sunday, day of the sun. our live inspiration on Sundays, and we're going to continue that. Again, and this, you know, uh, self-care starts inward. Absolutely. Carissa said that's true, BB. Okay, so I guess we can segue into our topic because that is along the lines of why we suffer the things we suffer, even in the legal realm, because we never knew or we forgot who we are. Okay, and they got us believing, whoever they may be, right? I'm not going to blame anybody specifically. I'm just going to say they have us believing that we are, in fact, one and the same with the legal entity. Isn't that true? And so, again, because we don't know who we are. What is our place? What is our position in the scheme of things, in the world, in our paradigm? What is your position? Why are you here? Have you found yourself asking yourself that question in the mirror? Like, what is the purpose? Is it just to get up every day and go to work and make someone else wealthy because you didn't have the moxie, you didn't have the drive to start your own business? Do you know America, uh, was founded on those hard ethic, work ethics, um, diligence, suffering, planting your own agriculture. That's what we were founded upon. So don't do we not realize that this is no longer the world? That is no longer the world of today. The world of today is let somebody else do the hard work and the labor, and you merely, profit or benefit as if you're just some kind of trust fund baby. And so you always looking for a handout everywhere we go. We want convenience stores. You want to be able just to pull off the highway at any point in time if you want a coffee. Somebody else is brewing the coffee. You want it hot. You want it now when you get there. You don't want to wait. When I go from the first window at McDonald's and I get to that second window, my fries, my burger, and my soda better be right. You see, this is how we've been trained and cultured. And I gotta believe, and you should believe, and I gotta believe uh, that there is a man, I'll just say, behind a curtain somewhere, like in The Wizard of Oz, that devised such a plan. Because if politics is the science of government or the study of how to control the people's minds, if that is what politics in fact is by definition, then we must believe that someone has been studying you. Someone's been uh, analyzing, watching you, and taking and compiling metrics of what makes you tick, what makes the American people tick. Okay, and so what is the purpose of studying you? What is the purpose of politics? It is so that they know exactly what to do, what stimulation to introduce to get a desired result or effect from the people who don't know they're being studied. And so, with that being said, again, if we don't know our own self, everything is without ourselves. We want instant gratification, as Carissa just said. Okay, awesome. Instant gratification as opposed to delayed gratification. These are even principles that weren't taught to you. When did you hear about instant and delayed gratification? You heard about that probably as an adult. But if they would have taught us those type of concepts and principles, how much further along would we be today? If they would have merely taught us from, let's say, fourth grade or fifth grade about trusts, about estate planning, If they would have just given us just a course on it, how much further might we all be in understanding economics? I was talking to a Nigerian brother here whose house I was just painting. This is how the universe works, okay? Um, and he began to ask me questions. He found out about KnowledgeWell Media, and he began to ask me questions because he knows the type of topics we talk about here now. And he's a nurse, beautiful house that he's renting, beautiful, big, you know, dream house out in the suburbs. And he was explaining to me, you know, how he got here from Nigeria and his large family. And he wanted to know, he said, you know, what do African Americans here, what is their excuse as to the predicament, as to their social standing today? When slavery was ended, okay, and essentially they have constitutional protections now. So what is the problem? He wanted to know. And I said, well, the problem, first off, is the lack of education. And I told him, when I say education, I'm not talking about uh, grades 4K through 12. Okay, because grades 4K through 12 were not designed for you to beat the system or to excel per se in the system. Grades 4K through 12 were designed to create to make you into the best productive citizen possible. Okay, that's why you're learning things that may not or may be a little applicable in your daily routine, because we gotta we gotta give you things All right. I think I'm back. I think I'm back. Can you hear me? Let me know if I'm back or not. Can you hear me? All right, we're back. Gotta love this high-tech, fifth generation, sixth generation microwave technology. It's got to be cutting edge, right? All the hype out of T-Mobile and other providers, how great this 5G system is, how much more powerful it is, and it almost seems like it's getting worse, not better. But what is the 5G really about? But anyways, I digress. We last left off, I was saying that the educational system is not designed to push you up into the upper echelons of society. It's merely designed to make you into productive citizens. Okay? And a citizen is merely a subject member. Okay? Yes, you get some benefits. Yes, you get some immunities. But you owe a whole hell of a lot more obligations. Okay? And duties. Oh, and it's after the order of a trust. So sit down, shut up, benefactor. We, as your government that you appointed, will handle all these matters. You just quiet. Put your seatbelt on, stay under the speed limit, do what we tell you. Otherwise, we'll give you a spanking. That's legitimately the system you're in. When they're talking about a democracy, what they're saying is that basically this is now a trust type of scenario where we will take care of everything. You just sit back and take these handouts, government handouts, that come with some fine print. Okay? Now, does that mean the system's bad? That's for you to determine. I don't contend that it's bad. I just believe that there's negatives and positives. I believe that if you need benefits, if you need welfare programs, then you're exactly who the system was designed to lord over. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Some people don't even realize, I was talking to some other individuals, some people just don't even realize the benefits that they are taking part in because you weren't really told anything. Now, again, is that the system's fault? Not technically, okay? Because technically, you are supposed to be competent, legally competent. You're supposed to know how the system works that you live in. You're supposed to do your due diligence and pursue after education outside of the public school system. Everyone should have a library of reference books and dictionaries and thesauruses and what have you. This is free information, is the way that they see it. So there is no real excuse because you can literally, and I do it myself, you can literally go to your local Goodwill or whatever you have and buy books that at one point in time probably cost hundreds of dollars, but you can literally get them for 89 cents. So the system's been around for 200 plus years. That information, some of that information is still good. And I would contend most of that information, we might get cut off again because I'm going through a dead spot. That's an unusual dead spot. So if that be the case, I'll be back to the honeycomb hideout shortly. But my point is that information is free. And now with the advent of the internet and AI and all that kind of stuff, what can possibly stand in your way from your own academia, your own growth? You can self-teach yourself anything today. And so with that being said, that removes really all excuses, save you being, let's say handicapped or have a learning disability or something to that effect. But, you know, whether you understand those type of situations, but, you know, for the most part, if you're healthy, whatever, you got your sight, you got your all your faculties, and you got $1 in your pocket, you can go and to any library, you can rent books. Yeah, I mean, there really is no excuse. You can self-teach you can teach yourself anything that you can get your hand on. Any book, okay? Now, will you have a degree in it? Look what's happening around today. It's no longer about that anyways, is it? Huh? All of the industry, this is the most opportune times for people that couldn't go to college to get those premium jobs today. Why? Because there's a shortage, especially in the skilled trades. So all, okay, we have to get back to knowing ourselves. I used to heard it said like this. All right. Yeah, I just went through the dead area, so audio will probably get choppy, but it should be improving here shortly. I used to hear it said that how can you love someone if you don't love your own self? Okay, in an airplane scenario, right? When an airplane is in turbulence, or they warn you, they say make sure that you put the mask on yourself first, then try to help somebody else. It also used to be said to make sure that you sweep around your own front door before you try to go clean somebody else's, right? Take care of your own business first. The Bible puts it this way: to remove the beam from your eye before you try to remove the speck in somebody else's eye. Okay? All of these denoting the importance of self. Maybe that's what the universe wants me to speak on tonight, apparently. We have to get back to the importance of self. We've been taught that that is selfish, that that is a bad thing. And now, you know, we're experiencing divorce and broken homes and division between parents and fathers and mothers and what have you, right? Because everything is geared in this Western society to be a people pleaser, to always look out for someone else, and to put yourself on the back burner. How does that make sense? How does it make sense to forsake your own self for someone else? How are you going to help somebody else if you're not healthy? How are you going to act as a rescuer for somebody else if your head is underwater? So I contend that we need to start again focusing inwardly, and this is right on the heels of that frequency vibration discussion during our Day of the Sun inspirations, because most of us are trying to as they say, eat the whole elephant, right? You don't eat. How do you eat an elephant? You eat it bite by bite, right? You're not trying to put the whole thing in your mouth. You know what I'm saying? It's near impossible. And so that's what a lot of us are trying to do. The brokenness is in us as the people who forgot who the hell we are, right? Isn't that where the problem lies? Why did the governments become necessary? Why did we form the governments? What was the point? What was the purpose? Right? Government became ever so powerful, especially during the 1929 Great Depression, okay, and other economical downturns, severe economical downturns, right? So much so that we were tricked, as it were, right? We were tricked into trading our silver and our gold in exchange for fiat, in exchange for some tokens, some Chuck E. Cheese tokens. We got Chuck E. Cheese here. I don't know what y'all have. The game house, right, where you play all the video game stuff, the little kids and stuff. And we settle for that. And so that's indicative of an abused people, people that don't know who they are, people that live in a perpetual state of fear. We're always looking outside of ourselves. And that's been apparently one of the greatest I don't even know how to put it. One of the greatest. I'll put it to you this way. How you doing, Heather? Thank you for being here. So good to have you. Thank you. A while back, finding a balance for self-care, not selfishness, with a balance for care of others is a constant problem. Yeah, I'm saying, because how are we going to do for somebody else if we don't do for ourselves? Okay, so put it this way. Mothers love their children, right? But if mom don't take care of herself, if mom is toxic inwardly as well as externally, if she's toxic and it's her job, or she's nursing or taking care of the baby, then that could harm the child too. So mama has to be healthy. Mama has to be safe, have energy and all those types of things. So she got to take care of herself. Okay. Same thing goes for fathers. You got to have you got to have the energy. You got to have the moxie, the perseverance. You got to have all of those things. And so that takes having a foundation within yourself first before you can help somebody on the external is what I'm saying. And so going into, our more on our topic, governments were instituted for a people that said, we fear that we or us alone or individually are inadequate to protect our own interests. Let us come together under a king. That story is captured in, I believe it is, in the Samuel of the Bible. I don't know if it's I think it's First Samuel, where the first king of Israel was established. I've gone over this before, where the people were saying, remember, allegedly, according to the legend, right? The God of Israel was ruling over the people. and had chosen to select people, as the story goes, the Israelites. And they had a relationship with their God through priests. Okay, they couldn't deal with God directly because God only chose allegedly to only deal with the priest, and then the priest would come and put the message out to the public. Well, there came a time where these chosen people began to complain and say, every other nation, has a God, has idols that they can touch, that they can see. Give us that. They were like, because, as the legend goes, God is invisible, etc., etc., right? So we want the same thing as the other nations. Why can't we see our God and all this kind of stuff, right? That's how it went. And so finally, according to the legend, the people finally were given exactly what they asked for. But again, according to the legend, they were warned that, okay, you want a king, a physical king, a man king like the rest of the nations, then you shall have that. But here's the warning, that the man king will lay down laws, what we know today as positive law, enactments of a duly authorized legislature, statutes, codes, ordinances. And they were going to be numerous. Remember, there were only 10 commandments. And when the kings came, all of a sudden you had 1,000,000 statutes. Millions. I forget how many millions they said there are. But things changed when men took over, when there started to be man kings. And he said that they were warned that, well, okay, the king is, if you want a man to rule over you because you want something physical and tangible, then let me tell you about the type of men you're going to be under. He's going to take your daughters for his own, to be his wives and concubines. He's going to send your sons off to wars to fight for his own gratification. And they're going to die and lose their lives. It sounds a lot like today, don't it? Said you're going to be taxed. The king is going to require of you taxes and tributes, since you want a man king. You want an earthly king. You want a fallible man, a man that makes mistakes to be your God, to rule over you. Then this is what the result's going to be. Read about it. It's in the Bible. This is what happened. And ever since then, are you still there? All right. Looks like you're back now. All the way through the empires, it's been the same thing over and over and over again. And so here we are. Okay. Every 4 years, you're voting a new man king into power. And he sends your sons off to war, takes your daughters to be his own, or takes them on whatever. I don't know, whatever. Taxes, tributes. You see what I'm saying? And so this brings us to the current topic. If you've been around, you know I've been talking about the translation. Okay, I'm learning more so than ever before. I'm seeing with a clarity that I've never had before exactly what the system is. It is, let me just say this. History does repeat itself. Well, really look at what is being stated there. History, his story. It's the king. It's the man king. It's always been his story. And it repeats itself because it can, his story and the activities that he uses to maintain power has never changed. So it's literally his plan and his story that continually repeat, because it's all about obtaining power. From the individual people. I don't know, this thing keeps blanking out. It's the siphoning of the power of the individuals, the people. You strip them of their identity. This is why the universe had me initially speaking on the importance of self. When you lose your individuality, you lose yourself. When you join or become a member of an organization, whether a fraternity, whether any kind of membership you join, what you're doing is you're sacrificing your individual liberties to take on some benefit from an organization. It doesn't matter what membership you join, you do not have the same rights as you would if you were an individual. And what you are joining in industry in the West, especially, what you are joining are organizations or businesses, unincorporated associations. These are all legal and artificial persons. When you join a membership at the grocery store, at the Sam's Club, at whatever you have, whatever clubs you have, if you join the YMCA, if you, well, I don't know if y'all have that. Anyways, if you join an exercise club, Experience Fitness, Anytime Fitness, all these places, anytime you join one of these businesses, you are relinquishing a part of your individuality. How do we know that? Try to do whatever you could normally do in your own house under a membership in someone else's organization and find out. Find out how much liberty you really have. Because you have joined someone else's. There was a man or a woman that started that industry from infancy, right? And built it up to a mega corporation. It started really small and they grew it. And you liked their product, their services, or whatever, and you liked it so much that you signed on the dotted line to be a citizen, as it were, of their particular association. That is what you did. And it was voluntary, because no one held a gun to your head and say, you have to become, you must become a member. No, they merely put out some things to lure you, like a contract to lure you in. They put up end caps. with sales, but only if you become a member, right? The small print there. And you looked at the offering, the service, the product, and you said, oh, I could really use that. And they said, come on. All you got to do is sign on the dotted line and you can be a member and you can get this discount. And you're like, oh boy, I get a discount. And you never asked, what am I giving away in exchange? Did you? Because it's going to be something, because you're joining somebody else's. And this is what the United States is. The United States, unlike any other country in the world, was established specifically by the founding fathers, by wealthy tycoons from across the pond that came over here looking for fertile ground to plant seed, looking for trees so that they can build, looking for strong workers, durable workers. Oh, they got to be the best because we have lots of vision for this land mass. Who is the healthiest, strongest, most agile, athletic people? Because we're going to need them, because we got a lot of building to do, including the White House. So that's why they went after the Negro, because they could handle it. They could handle the heat. Makes sense, right? Makes sense to make dollars. It just shows. It shows the mindset of the founding fathers. This was all about a business proposition. They weren't from here. They came here because of the opportunities that they saw. They came here because of the people that were here and their ability, their durability to work the land and their knowledge of the land itself and how to grow things here. So my point is, where you live today as a result of colonization, as a result of the people that came here and set up camp under threat with guns and trickery and contracts, right? As a result of that, you live in a plantation, a huge plantation where there is industry and businesses everywhere. And that is the fundamental basis of the United States. And so with that being said, as the great jurist William Blackstone stated, in order for the founding fathers and their ilk to keep this thing going, it is necessary to create artificial persons, legal persons, jural persons. Why? Because this system that was created, that was established, is not a natural occurrence or occurring thing. It's not natural. We're doing business. We're doing trade. And we want to be the best at it. And that's what they did. And so you are part of the grand experiment known as the United States, which is essentially a whore all over the world, or a whore to the world. You know, we hardly even make anything here any longer. We import everything, but we really don't have any exports. We'll take anything. It's like we'll sleep with anybody. That's why it's known as the Great Whore. We don't have much to offer, but we'll take whatever you got. And so this is where we live. This is what we're a part of. And so as it stands, in order to benefit from this experiment, this plantation, you must because this is not business as usual per se, as in this is not citizenship like Africa and what have you. This hasn't been around for thousands of years. It's only 200 something years old. There's a way to play this game. And upwards of 95, 96, 97, 98% of the citizens do not know how to play this game. When you think of the United States, you should be thinking of Monopoly, because that's what it's all about. The game of Monopoly. Okay? You would not sit down at the Monopoly table with a bunch of players and pull out your real credit cards to play that game. Why? Because everybody else is playing with phony money or fiat currency that only has the value that is that the government says, or it has the value that the government determines it has. Not inherent value. The paper is not worth anything. The ink is not even worth anything. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And we know that the gold is unpegged from the dollar. So what really is this money system? What is this? It's fiat. It only has the value we're told it has. Tell them to prove it. So this is Monopoly at its finest. The joke's on us. We grew up playing Monopoly all of our lives. And some of us were good at it. But it's a doggone shame that we can't be good at this. And it's the same exact thing. So this is where we live. And you must have a capacity, just like in the game of Monopoly, you had a little shoe, a little top hat, a little car that represented you on the game board. It is no different here. That's the legal entity, the jural person that was born right along with you. That's what it is. Because as again, William Blackstone stated, it becomes necessary. It is necessary. If you want to have a future that exists beyond you, then you must have something that can outlive you. Make sense? Makes dollars. If you want to have a legacy, an estate to pass on, then you better have something that will outlive you. And that's what the system has afforded you. Because just like the casino, right? You go in the casino, you go in there, you cash, you get the chips, whatever you do, right? You cash in your real money, what real money, and they give you fake money. Now go play. That's what they did here in the United States upon you taking citizenship here. Only it wasn't real money that you cashed in. It was your natural state that you cashed in. What do I mean by that? Well, we've been covering from the PALMS manual, the Social Security Administration's PALMS manual, how a legal name is created. They said it, not me. It's not my opinion. It's not my conjecture. I took it directly from the PALMS manual. And it states that the legal name is created through a translation of your given name and family name. See, you did give something away in order to take U.S. citizenship. You did give something away. You traded something, just like you got to give away your money to the cashier at the window in the casino. You gave them some real money and they gave you some fiat, some coins that you can put into their slot machines. Same thing. So you gave them your given name and family name, and they said, welcome. Here you go. Here's your new identity, a legal name. That's what happened. A translation. They took your human name, the name that you were given, your given name, your what they call your baptismal name, and a whole host of other designations. And they gave you a new name, a mark, a new mark. That's what, by definition, a name is a distinguishing characteristic, aka a mark. So your mother marked you at your birth. She said your name will be John Paul. And you were just fine, John Paul. You were just good. You're perfect. You were beautiful. You were healthy. And you were good. And then an adoption took place. A translation, a conversion took place, because you couldn't even leave the hospital before the state was coming in there to seal the deal. And you signed them papers. Hey, what did it say on the birth worksheet? It said, what will be the name? Oh, you didn't know they were asking you to borrow or to use the given name. See, mama probably knew your name before she even walked in the hospital. She had already chosen your name. Huh? Oh yeah, but they couldn't wait till you were birthed. You came down that birth canal and you were delivered. They couldn't wait till that happened. And then what happened? I mean, they can't even wait. You can barely be holding your baby long enough. They're ready to take the baby from you and do all the dance with the blood work and all that kind of stuff. And then next thing you know, you got an administrative individual coming up in the room with you. You trying to enjoy your baby, and they come with the documents, maybe a day later or maybe even the same day. And they want to know, here, can you fill this out? Can you fill these out? And guess what you're doing? Here is where a translation is taking place, because the forms come in blank to you, but when they leave out of that room, they are full of information, and mama is the informant giving them all the information, contributing to the conversion, the translation, and conversion of the name that this was her property. She had marked her child, given the child a distinct characterization. And what they don't tell her, because see, let me just tell you this straight up. The state is cowardly. The state don't show up in the hospital room itself, does it? No, it has all these different pawns that do its bidding, and that way the state will never have to answer for anything. The state has sovereign immunity. It ain't got to answer for nothing. Because you know what? Jill and Kathy, your nurses, the hospital administration, they don't know what's going on. They're just doing their job. They got families. They just trying to make their money and go home. And my job is to bring you these documents. Who told you to bring me these documents? I don't know. It just says this is what I'm supposed to do in my job description. You see what I'm saying? Everybody has plausible deniability. Who's really accountable to properly inform you of what is actually transpiring in the hospital? Who can you go to today and say, you know, you are responsible for participating in the conversion of my given name that I gave? How come nobody told me this? See, you can't go to, you probably don't even remember who your nurse was. They're long gone after the baby's born. You don't even know. And so this is what I'm saying. It's all the system. That's why it's the beast system. Don't nobody really, who can you hold accountable for anything? You don't know who to go to because everybody's just doing their job. I'm just making my paycheck. Calm down, sir. I'll call the police. You know what I'm saying? And then you'd be like, oh, well, okay. But okay, so the point of the matter is, I know it's getting dark in here. My bad. I'm just sitting in the car talking. We're just talking in the car. Whatever. But that's where you live at. That's what it's come down to. That's what's going on. You're caught in a legal construct. That's what it is. And you weren't told necessarily all of the game. You got to come to KnowledgeWell Media to know the inside of the game. But it's really nobody's job to educate you about it either. That's the problem. Nobody has to educate you about the things I'm telling you right now. You just have to find that information, and then you have to know how to use it. That's legitimately the system you work in. Put it to you this way. We're in a plantation. We're in a huge factory, and everybody has a job to perform in this community, and you're expected to perform it. As a citizen, you signed up here, you became a member here, and we're expecting you to carry your own weight in here in this and do your job in accordance with your job description, which is a citizen. And somebody was just saying, who said, let me catch up on these comments here. Anarchy Television is with us tonight. Thank you for being here. Good to see you. It's been a while. Anarchy Television says the reason why history repeats itself is because most people don't learn from history and learn from past mistakes. Okay, very true. Kimberly Miller's here. What's up, sis? Long time no see. Anarchy Television said if people would just realize the truth, we are under a state of martial law occupied by a foreign corporation called the United States, 28 USC 3015. We covered that in our debate we just had. I don't even want to go over that right now. But yes, yeah, I'm not going to cover that. Look back at the last the debate. I forget what I named it, but look back at that. I covered that already. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole right now. Anarchy Television says, but the problem is when you are born, they want to force you to sit down and play that game of Monopoly. nothing is really by force. If what you mean is um, that people take advantage of your ignorance, then yes, that is true. But nobody has the obligation, including the government, to teach you the ins and outs of the system as established by the founding fathers. No, it is nobody's obligation or duty to do that. They are, however, obligated to teach you how to become the best productive citizen possible. Okay. Anarchy Television asks the question, what is your legacy? Are you speaking directly to me? What is my legacy, or what is a legacy, are you asking? What is your legacy? Well, what's your story? What will be the story that's told about you? What are your contributions to your family, to your line, your lineage? What are your contributions? Anarchy Television, Black's Law Dictionary definition of citizen is property. Well, it depends on which Black's Law edition. The fifth edition it says it's a member of a political community. So it depends on which one. Anarchy Television says, technically, I was an infant. I had no knowledge of this so-called contract. It's not a contract. And they're going to tell you that. It's not a contract. Therefore, the contract is null and void if all parties are not knowledgeable of the contract. That's not the way it works. It's not a contract. They will never agree to you calling it a contract. They will never agree to that. However, what it truly is, and look this up, it's a social compact. There's a difference. Heather Quillen. All right, straight facts. There's a reason they don't even touch base of the subject of law in most public schools. They don't want you to think for yourself. Yeah, really, it's all about you being a productive citizen. Okay, and there's things you need to be a productive citizen, and there are things that you don't. Yeah, if everybody woke up and started doing for themselves, then there would be no need for government, and you can follow that vein. Yeah, I mean, right. So they definitely don't want governments to end, right? We don't either. We really don't either. We don't want pandemonium in the streets. We don't want women being raped and there is no law to punish. We don't want bad things happening. I contend that there are more good out here than bad. So a good will win if we had to do it that way. But I don't think government is necessarily bad. I just think that people in the government are bad. Do you feel me? And so I kind of like a little bit of organization because every once in a while when I'm driving, no matter how much I don't agree sometimes with some things that government does, but when I'm out here driving, I got my children or whatever in the car with me, and some idiot runs a red light or a stop sign, I'll be looking for the police. Like, did you see that? You know what I'm saying? You're doing it too, right? Because there are some idiots out here, and for that reason, I don't want there to be no government, right? We kind of just want them to be there when we call. Anarchy Television. The government has sovereign immunity. So well, the states do. State governments. Yeah, yeah, sovereign immunity. Uh, Remember, everyone, no one is coming to save us, not even Jesus. We, the people, are the ones we are waiting for. I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. I never signed up in any society. Well, if you're a citizen of the United States and you're a citizen of the state in which you reside, you did. In fact, you did. Okay. And there are three expressed proofs that you I have identified as the juror person legal entity, and that number one is the driver's license, number two is the non-driver's ID card, number three is the passport, U.S. passport. These are expressly stated to be the evidence that you, the applicant for a social security card or number, are one and the same with the legal entity. Now, how to deal with that properly, we can definitely consult about that. But if you are known as a United States citizen, you are a member of the society. No Sky Daddy, no Sky Daddy. Uh, Heather says, I've got two boys almost ready for kindergarten and was told without an up-to-date shot record they couldn't register, so fine, homeschooled it is. Now there are waivers for that, Heather. Maybe if you need help with that, maybe we can help you out in a consultation or whatever. But I know there are waivers. What state are you in? Carissa says home is better. We need to get back to the village, uplifting the youth. Well, I agree. I mean, nothing can be better than home, right? Because home is where the heart is. Home is where mom and dad are. You know, and a home is where the family is for safety. And hopefully we have our best interest or the children's best interest at heart. But we can do a lot better than what we've been doing. I mean, you know, YouTube and the internet are great for bringing us together, such as in events like tonight. It's a great thing. But until, well, let's back up. First of all, we need to start learning ourselves, knowing ourselves, and loving ourselves again. Second of all, we need to acknowledge that the way that the system is pulling us in is not really healthy for collaboration and community from the aspect of self-creativity, self-love, engagement, touch, you know, healthy camaraderie. It's not conducive. They're teaching us more and more to become more unidentifiable. By that I mean, you know, you can now pick a pronoun, you know, to represent who you are, but it's very vague. Nobody wants to be identified as an individual anymore. So even furthermore, we're losing our self identities. Do you feel me? That is a deep, deep mission, and it's being accomplished where people are dehumanizing themselves. Now, what happens when you get to a point of where you're not really recognizable as a human anymore? Well, then with that goes your human rights. If they can get you to waive those, now the first 10 amendments of the Constitution are basically useless, because those all protect your human God-given rights, your natural rights. But if you're giving them all up, I don't want to be identified as anything. I want to be a they, a he, a she, I mean, you know, a pronoun. You're giving away your identity. And if you give away your identity, you won't be looked at as a human. You'll be something else, but only humans are protected by the first 10 amendments of the Constitution. You sure you want to do that? I'm just saying. Moving forward. Carissa says they have sovereign immunity unless they overstep on their oath of office to the Constitution. Yeah. Yeah, they waive their sovereign immunity if they violate, you know, Section 1983 type deal, you know, deprivation of rights under color of law in a U.S. person. I wanted to go into the 14th Amendment, but we're at an hour and 15 minutes. So I'm probably going to just, I'll do this in two parts. Today is Friday, so I'll probably well, we got our Day of the Sun on Sunday. If I'm feeling froggy, I might leap and do another live tomorrow to kind of piggyback, because I did have two topics I wanted to really discuss tonight. The transition or translation of the given name and family name. And then I wanted to talk about the 14th Amendment, what it really is, what it's really doing. Oh, the universe has uploaded into me a deeper understanding about what's really going on with that 14th Amendment. It has everything to do. The universe gave us a great case, Dred Scott v. Sanford, 1857 case. I mean, man, I'm gonna hit that one so hard that I don't even want to get. I don't want to tarnish that delivery. It's gonna be so potent, and I don't want to tarnish the delivery by not doing it justice. But we're gonna talk about the Dred Scott case, 1857. We're gonna talk about what the founding fathers' intent was. Remember, Dred Scott. I'll give you a little primer here. Dred Scott was not allowed to sue, even though he had gone up into the Midwest or into Missouri, where slavery was ixnay, right? It was, no, we're not doing that here. He thought that because he came up to Missouri, Dred Scott, that, oh, I'm free. I'm free. The state of Missouri doesn't even recognize slavery anymore. And so he came up here with Sanford, his slave master, and he got footloose and fancy free. He thought he was all that in a bag of chips, to the point where he went right up to the federal courts and tried to sue his slave master. And Justice Taney, the justice at that time, said, you know what, Mr. Scott, Dred Scott, unfortunately, your name is not written in this Lamb's Book of Life, known as the Constitution. Therefore, you are not recognized as a U.S. citizen. Therefore, you cannot use the federal courts, the federal instrumentalities of the United States to sue your slave master. Therefore, go back and be a slave. That's basically the gist of it, right? Justice Taney told him, and he was truthful about the whole situation. He said, that's just the way it is. He said, I'm the judiciary. I'm a justice, a justice of the peace. I'm under the Article 3 of the Constitution. That is the only delegation of authority that I have. Therefore, I cannot make law. I can only ascertain, or I can only analyze and interpret the intent of the founding fathers. I cannot make new law because I'm the judicial branch. I am not the legislative branch. And therefore, Dred Scott, when I looked and evaluated what the intent of the legislature was when it comes to a Negro or a slave, sorry, man. They did not write you in as a member of the political community known as the United States of America. And not only that, but I'm going to show y'all that even though the state of Missouri might accept you as a citizen, that does not mean that any other state in the union recognizes your citizenship. Not only that, but even if the state of Missouri sees you as its citizen and accepts you in, you're still not a United States citizen. And therefore, you cannot sue in our courts. Use our instrumentalities of the United States. Ooh-wee. But alas, that was 1857. And then subsequently, 1861, the end of the Civil War over this whole slavery issue, allegedly. And then 4 years later, out slavery. And then 3 years after that, in 1868, the 14th Amendment. And finally, Dred Scott was able to be recognized as a United States citizen because of the 14th Amendment. So what, in fact, happened then? If in 1857, just 11 years prior, Dred Scott could not even be recognized as a U.S. citizen, could not use the federal courts to sue his slave master, and was not recognized as one of the people, we the people, a citizen of the United States. Just 11 years later, all of that is fixed. And now all Negroes and foreigners alike are now U.S. persons or U.S. citizens. What happened? What changed? Because when we find that out, we're going to put a stop to them arguing against us when we're telling them that, hey, that legal person is something separate and distinct from myself. And we have that answer. And we're going to cover that on the next live. So make sure you let somebody else know. This is going to be very powerful. It's going to be very powerful. I don't want to do a disservice by trying to cover it now because we're already long in the tooth at 1 hour and 20 minutes. I don't be trying to make these that long, but hopefully I can entice you to come back for the next live. Let's see. Anarchy Television says, what is supposed to be the only job of the government? Wait. What is supposed to be the only job of the government is to protect and ensure our individual God-given rights and defend us from foreign power. Which government? I mean, well, you have the state and then you have the federal government. But I mean, you're right. I'll agree with that. But the state government has some other work. I'll just put it like that. You got the state governments are basically the political branches. They're basically like they have their own political interests, um, and it works a little bit different in that even within the state, those are not Article 3 courts. Those circuit courts and municipal courts and all that kind of those aren't Article 3 courts. Something altogether different. We'll have to cover that. Okay. BB Production says talk to your school district. Yeah, there's Heather, you said in Tennessee. Yeah, definitely we can have a discussion about that. I don't want to cover that. But yeah, talk to, as BB Production says, talk to your school district there about the waiver. You can call it religion, you can call it whatever you want to, do whatever you got to do. I'm not doing, there ain't no shots. It just ain't happening. We'll go to federal court on that. I won't go down easy on that one. I ain't with that. BB Production says the school districts say that, but offer a form or waiver to sidestep the issue. You just have to ask for it sometimes. Yeah, exactly. Anarchy Television says the way this country started is we the people individually are the sovereign, and only the sovereign can give the government authority. It's not the other way around. Actually, I'd have to disagree with you. You, depending on what nationality you are, were more than likely not one of we the people. If you look like me, you weren't one of the people. That's what I was just covering. We learned that from Dred Scott, the case I just cited, 1857. Read that over. Grab some milk and cookies. You're gonna be reading for a while. It's a long, but very informative case. But with that being said, yeah, no, you weren't, more than likely, like I said, you weren't one of the people. I wasn't one of the people either. My great grandmama, they weren't one of the people. No, no, you weren't allowed to be recognized as one of the people until the 14th Amendment of 1868. That's when all persons born or naturalized in the United States are citizens of this, you know what I'm saying, blase, blase. Read the 14th Amendment. All right. Carissa says human means monster in Black's Law. Yeah, we've been down that road many times. I've even debated on that. Again, the different Black's laws say different things. But I also covered that. You'd have to go back in the archives. I covered that. But Hugh and man, what I'll tell you to do is go to the etymology dictionary, Etymon online, and put in human, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, I pretty much squashed that issue because that's what was popular. People are like, human, you're a monster. Look at go into Etymon online and type that in. You'll see what I'm talking about. They teach you the derivative of the word, where it came from. Hugh, it's a type of a man. It's a type of man, and in fact, it says that it's a civil man, a friendly man, or something to that effect. You'll see what I'm talking about. Marissa, check it out. Lost Road said definitely looking for. So I want to go in on it. I really really do. I want to go in on it. You know what I want to do, y'all? I promise y'all. Look, I appreciate y'all for being here. So please just let this go over your head if it doesn't apply. I don't get support. I don't get all the times I've been doing these whatchamacallits, I've gotten zero support. So what I'm thinking I want to do, I want to lay this out there, but I want to do a beautiful presentation. I want to make it so rich with evidence, proofs, the whiteboard, for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, just laying it out from A to Z. I promise you, I have the answers. I have the evidence. You know I do. If you've been around here, you know I do. But what we need to do is put it in a package from A to Z. And, maybe make a 2-hour presentation, but I'll video it so that what I can do then is we can have it edited down. So let's say we do a 2-hour live and we'll call it a seminar, and I'll name it and whatever, right? And this way I can raise funds because I don't get support otherwise. People just don't, and I know everybody's struggling right now. So again, if it don't apply to you, don't worry about it. But I'm just saying, I literally, the last few lives I've said, show your support. I put the scroll across the bottom, not $2. I promise you. I promise to God. I'm not lying to you. Nobody donates. And I don't know why, because like sometimes I go over to other people's channels and they just lighten up. And all they're talking about is having a hot boy summer and twerking. I'm like, what? How come they're getting support? But I guess that's what people want to hear. I'm not doing it though. I'm not gonna get on here and start twerking, so it's not gonna happen. So but anyways, you feel me? So what I'm saying is maybe I need to start doing some seminars, because since I got the sauce, I got the evidence, I got the proof, right? I need to do seminars then and just charge tickets. I mean, if people want this information, I'm willing to give it to you. I mean, you got to be responsible with it, of course. I don't want nobody to do nothing stupid, right? And you're definitely not going to go away misinformed from this platform. I'm not selling nobody a bill of goods. Everything I present to you, I can prove to you, right? In law, case law, positive law. But I got meat behind it. Okay. So again, I'm just thinking maybe I just do seminars, and that's what I had set up the Patreon. I was hoping to get people to join membership over there, and what have you. But that, I appreciate everybody that's over there. I really do. Thank you. I know people are dropping off now, but I really do appreciate it. It means a whole lot. Keep doing it if you can. I understand if you're struggling. Hey, we all out here. That's why I'm taking side jobs. I got to do that. I'm worn out now because I've been painting all day. So, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. All right. And don't ever take money out of your mouth. I mean, your children's mouth to try to help me out or whatever. Make sure you take care of yourself. But you get where I'm going with that. So anyways, I'm thinking about doing some more seminars and just making like commercials and stuff like that to draw in people. Because I gotta, I love to do this, but at the same time, it's a lot of hard work. But I'm thinking of doing that. Maybe we'll do a seminar. Maybe I'll, and then I'll sell tickets to it or something like that. We'll see. We'll see. If you got any good ideas to help a brother out, let me know. All right. So definitely looking forward to that. Okay. I'll definitely announce when we get to that point. Anarchy Television said, I'm a man. Okay. All right. Okay. Very good. Depending on what Black's Law Dictionary volume you look at, human is sea monster. Well, I'm definitely not a sea monster. According to Black's Law Dictionary of person is a corporation. Right. That's what I'm saying. You got the different law dictionaries are going to say different things. But again, to thine own self be true. You know what you are, right? And you should know the difference between yourself and a corporation. And you should know that there are legal persons, artificial persons, commercial persons. There's all kinds. You just got to know. You got to know and have that proof. We can come together and create our own common law court. You How should I deal with that? You can. It doesn't mean that it's going to have recognition in law. right? The people have done that. The state assembly and all that. They do that. They do that, but it just doesn't get any recognition. I mean, so it would be a nice exercise. It might be fun, but it just won't get recognition. Peace and blessings to you as well, Carissa. Thank you for being here. Cool. I'll check it out. All right. Very good. It takes time to build a fellowship. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And Heather says, I got you on Patreon. Okay, yeah, come on over there. I really appreciate that. I'm I'm trying to do what I can. I got to do what I got to do to support myself and my family as well. And time is money. And y'all already know all this. Um, so, but I always want to follow through with what I tell you I'm going to do. I told you I was going live today. So I was like, dang, I forgot at 7 o'clock. I was like, oh, well, I'm just going to have to do it from the car. So I always want to keep my word to y'all. I really appreciate y'all support. And we'll get through this. It's going to get greater real soon. We got a lot of things on the burner, and we are getting smarter. We are learning more. We're getting more intelligent. We're experiencing things in the courts. We're learning new things, and so it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very fun and informative, and we're just going to keep going. We're going to keep going. We have the answers. You're in the right place. You're hopefully on board as a KnowledgeWellian, and we have the answers. We're not hearing this type of content out there. People are still stuck on 1099s and secured party creditors and all that kind of stuff, and they still don't get it. They still don't get it. And so I'm going to put together this seminar. I'm going to try to make the tickets like very affordable, but I want to make it worth my time as well. um, what does that mean? Is that $5? Is that $15? I don't know. I mean, if we have a low turnout, then, you know, it is what it is. I'm still going to put it out there. Um, but what I want to do is give people out the opportunity to invest into their education. That's the only way you take things serious, is when you have some skin in the game, right? Look, I invested in this, and I'm going to enjoy this. And it's the law of reciprocity. When you put out, you get back, and that's the way it goes, right? And I don't waste people's money. Um, I got a family. I take care of my family, and we do our thing. And everything that we teach, we live. Everything we teach, we live. I'm in the courts right now, making the arguments that you hear me teaching about. It's a lot of energy is expelled, but it is necessary. If you're going to teach people, you're going to have to be prepared to go through things. And that's one thing that you can use to measure the heart of your so-called guru, is make sure that if they are trying to teach you or tell you something that you should be doing or could be doing, or whatever, um, check their record. Have they even gone to court? Have they even tried to fight a battle in court? Have they even filed a federal lawsuit before? Any of that? Well, then they shouldn't be, trying to tell you what the possibilities are if they've never done it themselves. But and you're gonna see, you'll see exactly what's going on here. I just, I can't talk about everything, obviously, because the cases are actually live right now. So I'm actually waiting on. Well, I'm actually going to be filing a third lawsuit, federal lawsuit, against the child support in the state of Wisconsin. So lots of stuff, lots of stuff. So just come along for the ride. You're welcome to come along. I'll make sure you know what's going on. But anyways, hour and 34 minutes. I really appreciate you for being here. Heather, Carissa, Anarchy Television. Um, who am I missing? Yeah, BB Productions. Thank you all for being here. Carissa, I said already. And hopefully more of our people will come back out. Kim, thank you for being here. Who else? Yeah, so I'll try to set that seminar up, and I'll try to make it, make some advertisement and all that kind of. Hey, Heather, thank you for being here. I think I said your name already. Well, we got Heather Bell and Heather Quillen. Is it Quillen? Quillen? We got two Heathers in one location. Awesome. Twice the Heather. All right. With that being said, I'm gonna get on in here now. I'm tired. And have a great night. Make it a great night. Happy Friday. Be safe. And perhaps we'll definitely see you on Sunday for our inspiration, but we'll see if we can squeeze something in between, possibly. If not, we'll start working on that seminar and give it the A to Z, and then we're going to break that up, and it'll be pre-recorded. It'll be recorded, and we'll be able to put that up in our store, and people can buy the installments to add to their collection. And you can use that as a study guide with facts, with citations and everything. All right. Love you all. And now you've been made free. The question is, what are you going to do with it? Thank you for being here with me this late evening. Courtney, signing off. Peace.